everyone, and welcome to the Jamestown Distributors Workshop. Our latest in-house project was to install a Taco flexible vinyl rub rail on this 1970 Seacraft. This installation is fairly easy to do yourself if you have an extra pair of hands to help you. So here are the step-by-step instructions to installing a rub rail.
Start off by determining what length rub rail you will need. To determine the length, simply double the length of the boat and add the beam. Now remove the old rub rail. This is a rigid aluminum rub rail fastened by self-tapping screws. Some style of rub rails use pop rivets for fasteners. If your rub rail has pop rivets, only drill the head out to remove. Make sure your drill bit is not larger than the shaft of your rivet. Now remove the excess silicone sealant with a putty knife and sand the fastener holes flat. Wipe clean with acetone and fill the holes with West System 610 thickened epoxy adhesive. Use a spreader to wipe off any excess epoxy. Once the epoxy has cured, you are ready to install the new rub rail. Start by soaking it in warm water for about 20 minutes. You want the water to be about 100 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, or about the temperature of a warm bath. If you are unable to soak the rub rail, it can be stretched out on a driveway during a hot, sunny day. Now it's time to install the rub rail. Find the middle and mark with tape or a pencil. Hold it in place and drill your first pilot hole and install one of the supplied truss head screws. Install 3 screws about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart from each other. Have a second person pull tightly on the end of the rub rail and install 3 screws the same way as on the bow. You want to do the same process of 3 screws in the bow and 3 screws in the quarter. It's very important that you stretch out the rub rail as much as possible, which can only be done when it's warm. Take the time to ensure the screws and rub rail are aligned before drilling, but you want to keep moving so the rub rail doesn't have time to cool. The spacing of the fasteners should be every 3 to 6 inches. The smaller the rub rail, the easier it is to stretch, so you can space the screws out every 6 inches. Larger rub rails require closer spacing. If the screws are spaced too far apart, the rub rail will give off a wavy appearance. Use 3M 4200 as a sealant for the screws, and also as bedding, to provide a little extra cushioning. Apply a bead of sealant in 3 or 4 sections and install 1 screw at a time. When you only install 1 screw at a time, it's much easier to make sure you have proper alignment and positioning. If the rub rail has cooled off, it may be difficult to conform to the radius of the stern quarters. Use a heat gun on its lowest setting and keep it moving continuously to warm the section of the rub rail. It's very important to only warm the rub rail and not overheat it, or discoloring or damage may occur. Once your rub rail is completely fastened, use a pair of garden pruning shears to cut off the excess. Make sure you cut parallel to the shape of the transom. Soak the insert in warm water for 10 minutes to soften and make it more flexible. You can also use soapy water for added lubrication. Trim the excess with garden shears. Put the end caps in place, mark holes, and drill the pilot holes. Use a countersink to prevent the gel coat from chipping or cracking.
The Taco Flexible Vinyl Rub Rail Kit comes with enough footage of rub rail, the flexible insert, end caps, and 100 screws. Installing a rub rail on your boat can help prevent dings and scratches, so we recommend that every boat has one. To purchase everything you've seen in this video to install your rub rail, visit us on the web at jamestownddistributors.com.